All right, you guys, we're back and we're live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As you're logging on, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. Welcome back, you guys. As you're logging on, say hello, comment. If you are logging on Instagram, we are also live on YouTube and Facebook. And we will be screen sharing over on YouTube and Facebook. So it's a little bit of a better experience. Instagram, you can hear me, but you can't see all the pictures and all that. So welcome, you guys. Say hi when you get here so I know I'm not talking to myself. Welcome. Hello, what's up? Good evening. My need is so the top is it's just a sports bra, so you can see it's just a sports bra. So yeah, it's special. First time watching it live, awesome. Well, welcome. Yeah, it's fun live. I get everybody involved. We all chat. You can comment in questions, all those kinds of things, and give me your 2 cents. What's up, Devin? Yeah, we have a good time here. So I always wait a few minutes, let everybody get logged on so they can see the notifications when they pop up, all of that. But we like to have an open discussion here. We have some things to talk about tonight. We're going to be previewing the Charlotte Cup and kind of Vancouver. Kind of. There's not much to preview. So we're going to talk about that real brief like. Oh, goodness. Y'all wellness pros. What are we going to do with you? What are we going to do with you, Devin? Got to get these ladies on stage. Hello, Kelby. What's up? All right. So we just wrapped up the Wasatch Warrior yesterday. So today we are going to preview the Charlotte Cup and the Vancouver. Like I said, gonna preview the Vancouver. So let's go into that real quick. First, let's do that one first. Try to get myself on stage, right? I know. So let me pull up the pro list. Hang on a second. Here it is. All right, so this is our pro list right here for Vancouver. It is 2 whole people deep. 2 whole people in the wellness lineup here. Between Cassandra and Jennifer for the win and the Olympic qualification. Now, let's just talk about the girls real quick. This is likely going to be Cassandra's win. I mean, Cassandra just came off of a win at the Arnold. She is Canadian, so it makes sense why she'd want to compete in this. All of that kind of stuff. I get it. Jennifer is trying to get qualified. She keeps missing it. So she might be in the top 2, which here she's going to be in the top 2. So let's just take a look right here. We've got Cassandra. This was from the Olympia. We don't have pictures from the Arnold on NPC News Online. But she did win the Arnold. She took 4th at the Olympia. So, probably going to win this one. I'm just saying she's probably going to win it. Jenny Sachs is what everybody calls her. So Jennifer, to me, has a little bit more of a figure physique than she does a wellness physique to begin with. So that's the first thing. She needs more glutes. Her conditioning is really a little bit too much for wellness, in my opinion. So, I mean, unless somebody comes out of the woodwork and joins this, I can pretty confidently say it's going to be Cassandra in first and Jennifer in second. I mean, I don't really know what else to say here. So, I'm gonna say this too. I mean, it's difficult to do a wellness show in Canada where you don't have a lot of pros to begin with. Canadian pro shows tend to be relatively small. I mean, there's a reason why the Devin's screaming. Oh yeah, she is. There's a reason why the Ben Weeder ended up coming here to the States. It wasn't really huge in Canada, but also Canada still has some travel restrictions and things like that going on too. So it's not the easiest place to travel to. And from what I heard, I guess they just put wellness in on this particular show, which to me doesn't seem like a very smart idea. I mean, we've seen the wellness numbers and they haven't been huge. So adding a wellness division last minute to a show where it's going to be difficult to actually even get there, probably not the smartest move in the world, Devin, here's the thing. A lot of people are off season right now for wellness and every other division because last year's season was so long and everybody prepped all the way through December. It was so long. It was such a long year and it took a lot out of a lot of athletes. I mean, we see it now in bikini. Girls are just starting to come back and, bikini is the easiest division to get on stage in comparison to all of the other divisions, right? It's the easiest division to prep for multiple shows. And we're just now seeing these shows start to really get stacked up with some good quality competitors. And that's because all of these Olympians were just on stage in December. They were on stage in December. The timing of the Olympia and the Arnold this year and all of that was really not good. I mean, it just was not good. So, I don't fault any of the girls that were on the Olympia stage taking some time right now. Right? Taking some time off. You have to, or else your body will break down. You have to take some time off. But where I do see a problem is, like I've talked about before, none of these new pros are coming out and showing up. I mean, they are a little bit here and there, but not in the numbers that they should be, right? Not in the numbers that they should be. This is a show where if somebody could easily book some travel and jump up in there, they could get noticed. That kind of thing, at least. Honestly, I don't think anybody's going to beat Cassandra anyway, unless you've got like a Francielli that walks in or something. I mean, Cassandra's going to win it. So, I mean, I don't know. I think this show was just poorly planned, to be honest with you. I think it was poorly planned in the promoter aspect, and I think it was poorly planned for the place that it's in. And if they did just throw wellness in last minute, I'm not sure why. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It didn't. I mean, it's just not one of those divisions that's going to pull a lot of numbers in general. So that's my 2 cents on the topic. Congratulations, Cassandra, on your win. Most likely. I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. But when you come off of winning one of the 2 biggest shows in the friggin' world, you're probably going to walk into a 2-person show and win it. I'm just saying. Just saying. I would say the same thing if Francielli decided to do this. I'd say congratulations, Francielli. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to say. Don't know what else to say here. It just is what it is. So, rethink that one a little bit. We'll just rethink that particular show a little bit. All right, so there goes that one. All right, we're done with Vancouver. So let's talk about wellness. Now, this is the Charlotte Cup. Right? So Charlotte Cup has a ton of competitors in it. They have not only open, but they have masters as well. So it's going to be a pretty good show. We're going to talk about both wellness and bikini. They do have figure as well. We're just not going to talk about figure. Other than, let's just go down a little bit here. So we have a pretty good lineup for figure too. It's hard. I got to be honest with you. It's hard to review some of these shows because we don't have a lot of figure shows. We really haven't seen a lot of figure competitors at all. Right. So, is what it is. Let's go to wellness. So at least with wellness, we have a decent lineup here, right? It's still not huge. Cool. Good talk, right? Right? For real. Oh, you guys. So this wellness lineup still isn't huge, right? You would think there would be a lot more in here than there are, especially because they got masters, right? They've got masters here at this show, masters 35 and 40. And you can see here, we've got one person, two people, right? So with that said, I mean, let's say the two girls that are up in Vancouver came down here, it still wouldn't be a huge list. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So congratulations, y'all got top 10. I feel like this is like Groundhog Day. Every week that I'm talking about these wellness shows, you guys, like, again, I'm not faulting any of the girls that have competed all last year and were on the Olympia stage and things like that, because I believe you do need to take an off season. I think that's definitely something you should be doing. And I don't see a problem with that at all, but there's new pros that are just not showing up, you know, and you need to show up, right? Or promoters are going to stop putting these divisions into their shows because this costs them money. And when they don't have a lot of competitors that show up, it's not worth it for them. Okay. So just remember that this is an investment in their part and they got to get athletes to show up. So, okay. So that was my lecture for today. So let's talk about the girls we do have here for wellness. So I pulled up the ones to be looking at. Now, obviously we have a few pro debuts, that kind of thing too. So there's going to be girls that we may not have on this preview that could come in and actually do pretty well. So yeah, as far as the newer pros, I don't know where they're at. I mean, I know some of them think they got to grow, things like that, but at some point you got to rip the Band-Aid off and you got to get on stage. You know, you got to get on stage. And even if you suck, who cares? Get on stage. That helps the division. And that's going to help you too. When you get into the pro league, you need to figure out where you fit. You need to figure out what your improvements are that you need to make. It's totally different on the pro stage versus the NPC stage. You need to get on the actual stage, and then you can make decisions as far as how you're going to play your season after that, right? So, okay, let's go here. So I pulled up a few people. Daisha, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I've heard it several different ways, so hopefully I got it right. So she would be one to definitely be looking at. Obviously, she was in the Olympia. She did place in the Olympia too. She placed 13th in the Olympia. So let's take a look. Well, our real first shots that we have here are her back shots. So let's go ahead and pick up a back shot and we'll take a look. Daisha. Okay, I said it right. Cool. Awesome. I don't know. You guys know. I spitball. I do my best. So Daisha, I think, has a good opportunity here. This back pose is way too wide. Way too wide. Bring the back pose in. But conditioning level is nice. I think if she brought her legs in a little bit, then she would look like she has a lot more mass. I think that this really thins her out quite a bit. I think she probably still needs a little bit more size, but fix this back pose a little bit, and this could be a different physique that we're looking at. Conditioning is good. This is right where the conditioning should be. Again, probably needs some more size, but I think changing this back pose up a little bit would definitely help in her scenario. And when it comes to the suit, I'm okay with the gold on her skin tone. It works, but it's still a little bit too neutral for me. If she's going to do this kind of color, I'd like to see more of a yellow versus a gold. I think the gold is just, again, it's just too neutral. It pops off of her, and it's okay, but I think it could be a little bit better. Let's take a look at a front shot. We have one. This will work right here. There we go. So she's got great proportions as far as she's got a tiny little waist and that nice glute pop and everything right here. Again, I think her conditioning is right on. I think she needs a little bit more size, but she may have done that since December, that kind of thing. Who knows? This could be a good opportunity for her. Like I said, she's got some nice round, full muscle bellies. You can see that in her quads. Her quads are super full. Love that. This is a really good look. Again, I would go with a brighter pop on the suit. If she wants to stay in this gold tone, I would go more towards the yellow aspect of the gold versus the gold because it is just a little too neutral for me. And she's got some gaping in her front of her suit. She needs to pull that a little tighter just so it doesn't gape on her. But overall, really good look at the Olympia. Again, she placed, so that's fantastic. She could do well here in the show. Next one up that I have on here is Haley. So I pulled up Haley because she did just place second at the Samson Showdown. Now, this was another show that had what, 4 or 5 people in it, 5 people total. So everybody was top 5. So it's hard to kind of gauge some of these ladies sometimes because they didn't have a lot of competition stand up next to. So she did place second though. So I wanted to highlight her because she's got a top 5 finish here. So let's take a look at one of her front poses here. And we didn't really review this show. We talked about Alexis winning it and everything, but we didn't really review it. She's got a decent shape here. Upper body is too big in comparison to her lower body, and her conditioning is too soft. Don't think you can really change that much in a matter of a few weeks kind of thing. You know, you can see here, she's quite broad across the top. She could probably fix this a little bit with some posing. But really where the condition needs to come in a little tighter here. You know, overall, not a bad shape for the division. She just needs to rework this pose a little bit, I think. Let's take a look at a back pose. Okay. Here's a back pose, and this is where the quality kind of drops off for her. She needs some work, is in the back pose. So this is what we're talking about with the conditioning. Conditioning level is just not quite there. Needs some more muscle, needs some more size, needs to be tighter. This works on a, you know, regional stage, that kind of thing. Pro stage, it's just not gonna hold up, in my opinion. So she has a good foundation. This is what I'm talking about. Like when we're talking about newer pros coming out and competing, I'm assuming she's a newer pro. This is a good opportunity for her to take this and say, okay, these are the things I can fix now, right? She got a second place. Fantastic. Wonderful. Maybe she wants to come into this show and try to get a little bit tighter on the show and see what she looks like. No problem with that. If I was her after this show, depending on how you look, depending on how the feedback comes in, at that point, I would go get off stage and start making improvements, right? Because again, there's no such thing as points anymore, right? You have to win a show. And this particular look is not going to win a show currently. But she's doing a good thing. Oh, did she? She competed in Texas? Okay. All right. She's doing a good thing getting on stage and getting seen. But now you got to go make some improvements. Okay. So if she's been competing for, you know, almost a year at this point in the pro level, let me take a look at what her record says. I didn't even look at that. So, yeah, she just turned pro last year at Junior USA. So she's been a pro for almost a year at this point. She needs to get off stage and make some improvements now. Right. So she's not far off. She's got a good shape. She just needs to work on that density of that muscle. And that's a matter of getting off stage and just putting time in, food in, all of that kind of stuff. So she can come back with a better conditioned package. That's what my 2 cents would be. But again, I'm not faulting her for getting on stage and seeing where she lands. She's a new pro. She needs to do that. She's been doing decent. You know, as you can see here, she went in and she took 7th at the Texas Pro, like you said, Devin. And then she took 2nd here at the Samson Showdown. So I have no problem with that. You're improving in your placings. This particular show will be a little bit more difficult for her. She'll be up against some tougher competition than she was obviously here in Samson Showdown. So she'll get a better idea of what she looks like next to these pros, and then she can go make improvements. You know, that as a new pro, I think is a good thing, right? I think she's doing the right thing, right? So again, I wanted to highlight her because she did take 2nd, but I think she's going to make some improvements after this show. She had Houston too. Okay. I don't know why it didn't. I already X'd out of her. That's okay. But anyway, she needs to make some improvements. So Giselle is competing, and she took 6th at the Olympia. So this is likely your front runner right here. We haven't seen her since the Olympia, but I don't think a whole lot is going to be changing since the Olympia, other than, you know, maybe she's a little bit tighter. I don't think she's probably grown much. Let me see if I can find a fully posed front pose for her. Love the suit color on her. I think that was a great choice. Let's see. She's moving in that one. One of my critiques on Giselle from the Olympia is that she just looks a little bit square. She looks a little bit square, like she's squared off. Her glutes are squared off. Her legs are squared off. She's got good conditioning, but she's just square. She has no pop to her glutes that the other girls have at this level, right? She needs to kind of round things out. What's up, Natalie? Miss Peak Week over there, double back to back. But again, she's got a great shape and a great look. So I'm curious to see if she's done any kind of shaping and things like that since the Olympia, and maybe rounded herself out a little. That would be good to see. I think she will probably win this show pretty easily. I don't see anybody really giving her a run for her money. But I'm curious to see what kind of improvements that she's made from the Olympia. Let's see if I can find a good front pose before we X out of her. We got some side poses. Let's see. I don't see any front poses. This is kind of a front pose. She's not fully posed, but we'll put this one up anyway. There we go. So again, she's got great shape. She's got a great look, all of that. She's just a little bit square, a little bit squared off. So I'd like to see her a little bit rounder everywhere. So let's see what happens for this particular show. And if she does that, if she's rounded herself out a little. But again, I think she's probably going to win this show pretty easily. That's my 2 cents. I think she's going to probably win this show pretty easily. Let's see. And the last one that I pulled up was Jasmine Payne. So Jasmine is also an Olympian, right? She qualified on points this year. So she didn't place. And my critique of Jasmine has always been she's just a little bit big. Again, another one that needs some help with the shaping aspect. She's just got a lot of mass. She could definitely stand to fix a few poses. I'm trying to see if I can find a good front pose. This is a front pose. I'll pull this one up. She's just big. She's got a lot of mass. So she needs to shape it, right? She needs to shape this. Again, when I look at this, I see a girl that's like a bigger figure competitor. And I say figure because she's not conditioned enough to be women's physique. But she's got the mass of women's physique. She's just not tight enough to be women's physique. So you see here, I mean, she's got those broad shoulders right here. She's got those broad round shoulders and everything. She needs to rework some of these poses so she doesn't look quite so big. And she needs to shape it like wellness. So we're not looking at her chest across the top and we're looking at her glutes instead, right? So there's a few little shaping things that she needs to do here. And in general, just kind of needs to bring the size down a little bit as well. If I was going to say anybody would give Giselle a run for her money, it would be Jasmine. But yeah, Jasmine is very big for this division. She's very big for this division. So as we look at the back shot. So again, she's just got a lot of size. She's got a lot of size. Now she's not overly conditioned or anything like that, but she's just got a lot of mass. And again, if she posed a little bit differently, this would be like, she would almost be women's physique. She's just not conditioned enough to be women's physique, right? So she's got to do some shaping. Who knows what she's done since the Olympia? That's been a few months. Maybe she trimmed some down. I don't see it coming down a lot. But what I look at back here, she looks like she's got a lot of legs and not a whole lot of glutes. And she still has that wide top, right? So again, shaping, pulling the muscularity down. Conditioning is fine where it is. Conditioning is fine, but the muscularity needs to come down. The size overall needs to come down. The shape needs to work its way out through the posing a little bit. Yes, I agree. I agree with you, Devin. I forgot about Daisha. I agree. I believe Daisha will be second. I agree with you. Yes, 100%. So yes, if I was a betting woman, I would put Daisha in second, and then probably Jasmine after that. Nope, you're right. I forgot about Daisha. You're correct. So we'll see. Coming from December to now is not a lot of time to make a lot of changes, but it's enough to make little subtle changes. So some people I think that Daisha would benefit from subtle changes. I think that Giselle would benefit from subtle changes. I think Jasmine has to make some bigger changes, which means she needs to bring her muscularity down, which is hard to do in a matter of just a couple of months, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong on this, but I think that's how it's going to go. Just if I was a betting woman, I think that's how it would go. So looking at that list again, I would put Giselle in first. I would put Daisha in second, and then I put Jasmine in third. And who knows? Somebody else could come in and just completely blow all that out of the water, and I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. So with that, let's take a look at bikini. Our bikini lineups are getting more and more intense. Okay, they're getting more and more competitive. This is a decent sized show. It's not enormous, but it is deep as far as the competition is concerned. We got a lot of Olympians on this list. We got a lot of top fivers on this list, and this is going to continue to happen. Like I said, now is a time frame when everybody from the Olympia is starting to come back. You know, between now and the end of the summer, these shows are going to get harder and harder and harder. Okay, so I brought up the few people that I think we need to be looking at and paying attention to as we go into this. Now we do have bikini over 40, over 50, and over 60. And if you notice, we have our Miss Karen Small on there. That's one of our ladies here, one of our sponsored ladies. So looking forward to seeing Karen get back on stage. I did just have a posing session with her today, and she looks fantastic. So can't wait to see her on stage this coming weekend. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out. And she won 2 pro shows last year, by the way, you guys. She's over 60, you guys, and she won 2 pro shows last year. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Anyway, let's go to open. So first person I pulled up here was Maria Costa. This particular show right here, she placed 10th, which is not normal for her. This was a little off. I felt the placing was a little off. I felt like she should have placed a little bit better. She is a top 5 placement person usually. So I think that if we pull up a front shot, I'm going to show you. Here's a good front shot. She's got a really well-balanced physique. She's a little bit broad across the top in comparison to the lower half. This could be a posing thing, though. She could push a little harder and fix that particular position right there. She's got nice full roundness. This is a really good condition for bikini right here. Really pretty streamlined look. I've liked her look this whole last year when she was competing. She's had a little bit of a break at this point now, so she could come back looking a little bit better, and that could push her up a little higher. Again, she typically is a top 5er. I last year thought she would win a show, at some point. So this could be some place where she could shock some people and could get up into those top couple of placings. We'll see. But this is a really good front pose. She just needs to rework that a little bit so that she looks a little bit more not quite so top heavy right there. But that's just a matter of pushing her glutes a little, which is totally doable. Here we go from the back. Now, she had also gone on a run of competing shows and things like that. So she was coming down a little bit in muscularity. As you can see here, she needs some more glutes. So again, like we talked about from the front, she's a little top heavy. She's a little top heavy here. Needs some more glutes here. She was kind of fading as she got towards the end of her season this last year. So I understand that too. So I do understand the placing and all of that. So if she fills out the glutes a little bit here, really good conditioning again. She just needs some more glute. And that was just somewhere that she was fading last year, which she has had time off and had the ability to put the glutes back on. So she could come back again a little bit better this time. And I do like this overall balance as long as she pulls the glutes up, as long as she brings some more glutes to the stage. If she brings some more glutes, she could be very dangerous. She could be very dangerous. So she's somebody to be looking at for sure. Okay, next one that I pulled up here was Vanya. So Vanya is a 2-time Olympian. She didn't place at the Olympia this year, but she finally won a show this past year. She won the Nashville Fit Show. It's been kind of like a long time coming for her kind of thing. And she started to really hit her stride. I'm trying to find a good back shot here. Her issue is always that her legs overpower her upper half, but she was able to streamline quite a bit this past year. I do think she got a little bit thin by the time she got to Olympia, so this is a little bit small. You can tell she's a little bit thicker, more delt than she has down on the bottom. So she actually inverted that situation by the time she got to the Olympia. But again, it was a long season. It was a long season for a lot of these girls, right? So she just needs to oomph that back up. And with a few months off, you can do that. You can do that with a few months off. So, like the bikini lineup has quite a few girls with more muscle on their upper bodies. Vanya is the opposite. Yeah, except for here, like I was just saying. Typically, but just like anything else, when you start to stretch your season for months and months and months on end, your body's going to suffer, right? Your body's going to suffer. So I think she just came down a little bit too much by the time Olympia came around. It's a long season. It's a long season, you guys. But again, just a few months off can make a big difference. I mean, we saw that with Jessica last week. Jessica looked fantastic this past week after coming down quite a bit to Olympia prep and all of that. So let's take a look here. The front pose for you. So, like I said here, she is very streamlined here in comparison to what she used to be. Big time streamlined, right? And she's just a little bit broader across the top because she's dropped so much. And I would assume that's from dieting for a long time, right? That's just what happens. That's what happens over time. Especially for those of us who are tall chicks, we drop size real quick, right? So you need the time off. So again, with her, it's just about filling that back out. It's not like she has to grow a lot. She just needs to fill it back out with a break. And that can easily be done with the time frame that she's had from the Olympia to now. So I would definitely put her up in the running for a win here, potentially top 2, top 3, that kind of thing. And we'll see where she lands. And yes, Vanya's presentation is fantastic. She does a really good job at her posing. Some things that I've critiqued her on in the past have been, suit colors and things like that. I still don't feel like she's really found her look with the suit and all of that. She's gotten better over the years, but I think that she can still play with some stuff and find the right suit and the right cut and all those kinds of things, right? So I think she's getting there. And I think that she's doing the things that she needs to do in order to make her presentation that much better, because I think the one piece that I would say is missing from her sometimes is that suit. I did like this look on her, but I still think that the cut could be a little bit better. It could pop off her a little bit better. So we'll see what she brings to the stage. But I do see her as being one of those people that could be potentially up in that top, right? So let's see. Next up, I have Brittany. So I have Brittany Hamilton up. I mentioned her last week because I saw a post and I thought she was competing last week, and she did not compete last week. So she is competing this week. She's another one that I would put up in those top 2 placings. From what I've been seeing on Instagram, her physique looks great. Looks like she's nice and round. She is kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with Vanya. Pull up the front shot here. She's quite a bit taller, quite a bit more muscle, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how these two physiques kind of compare to each other when they're on stage. I do expect to see the two of them up there fighting in probably that top 4, somewhere in that range. If I had to guess right now, I would probably put Brittany ahead of Vanya, but I mean, it's just a matter of how they show up that day, One of the things that Brittany has an issue with sometimes is sometimes she comes in a little bit too lean, and then when she tries to fill out, then she looks a little bit thicker. So, it's a fine balance with her sometimes. So we'll see what she looks like going into this show. Again, she has more muscle, but she's also a taller competitor, so she needs that. You got to remember that you have to play to your proportions and to your physique, and taller girls got to carry more muscle in order to be able to be compared with the shorter girls, right? Let's see. So pretty good back shot here. Again, she has to carry more muscle because she is taller. She's a bigger girl. She has to do that. She does tend to have a little bit of a thicker waistline. So that's another reason why she's got to carry some muscle, right? In order to make that waistline look smaller from the back, she does have to carry some more muscle all the way around, right? You have to build out your proportions. Right? Yes, Vanya can sometimes come in too soft, specifically in the legs. And you're right, Brittany can come in too lean, but I've seen Brittany also overdo it as far as the carb load and stuff like that is concerned, and blow the waistline out a little bit as well. So, you know, it's a fine balance with both of them. That's why I say, like, it could really go either way, depending on how they dial in for this show. You know, it could flip flop. It could flip flop pretty easily. So we'll see how they come in. Overall, this is a good look for Brittany, though. I thought this was a good look for the Olympia. She had a little bit of rolls in the back. I don't know if that was from just her physique being tired. You know, again, long preps this past year with the Olympia and all that kind of stuff. I've said this 1,000 times already. This live stream, it's a long time to have to be in prep, and your body starts to feel it, and it's very sensitive. You give it a little bit of carbs and it goes crazy, you know, those kinds of things. So all of those variables came into play for a lot of people going into the Olympia this year. So with a little bit of rest, those variables can go away. So we'll see how they're able to dial it in, right? Next one I have is Lizzie Martinez. She took several top finishes this past year. These pictures are terrible. So I'm going to pull up the Minneapolis Pro. She ended up second here. She took several top fives, like three top fives or so, I think, at this particular year. She never really placed high until this year. She got some good size on her, got some good roundness on her. And then she started placing well. It's very rare that you see somebody with red hair be able to pull it off. I'd still like to see probably a different hair color. I'm just going to be honest. It worked, but I think that if she went a little bit deeper or something like that, I think that would be better. It's so hard with the red hair because it blends so much with the tan. But you know, she pulled it off pretty well. Here you can see she's got really good shape. She's streamlined. She's got really good conditioning here, all of that. Nice size to her muscle, but not overpowering. She's soft, but not too soft. You know, all those things that we talk about. She's right down the middle. And again, she's got that tiny little waistline, which really helps with her proportions right here. And this is a really pretty look right here too. She could be one of those ones that's kind of the wild card here that could come in looking really good at this particular show. And we could see her in the top 2, you know, we could see her, I would say as high as top 2. I mean, who knows? If she comes in looking fantastic, she can end up pulling out a win here. It's definitely possible. She's been close before. I'm trying to get to a back shot here so you guys can see her back shot. I took a lot of pictures at this show. Here we go. Okay. So from here, what I would say is she just needs a little bit more glute to pop. She's doing good for the amount of muscle that she has in the back. She just needs a little bit, like an extra like layer of muscle here, because she's got some powerful calves here and all that kind of stuff. Legs are good. I would just kind of try to fill the glutes out a little bit more. And then she's got a good V taper from the shoulders into the waistline too. So if she can round those glutes out a little bit more, she could definitely be a threat here. 100%. And she's definitely giving off the Little Mermaid vibes. Absolutely. And I would probably change the suit color too. Like, as much as the green is good for redheads, I would probably go a little deeper green if she's going to do green, or I would go to like a purple. Again, Little Mermaid vibes. I get it, but it works. It works for girls with the red hair. So if she's going to stick with the red hair, I would probably change the suit color up just a little bit, go a little bit deeper, or go to a purple, right? That would be my 2 cents on the suit. But yeah, she could be definitely one she could come in and win it. I mean, honestly, she could. So we'll see. Next one is Emily. So Emily just took 5th at the Clash. Again, another taller, more muscular competitor. She has been an Olympian in the past, and then she took a good off season last year. She's still a little top heavy. There's a lot of things with her posing that I would fix here. This hand pulling back. There's just some things. She's very conditioned through the shoulders and into the bicep. Like, you don't want to see this vascularity. We talked about this when we wrapped this show up. We don't want to see the striations, but we don't want to see the vascularity either. So if I was her, I'd probably not pump the shoulders up. Try to pull that vascularity down a little bit, and maybe pull the glutes up a little bit. Let's take a look at her from the back. She's another one that's got really long legs. So when you got long legs, You got to have some glutes to fill out too. She has grown since she was on stage last, not this past year, but the year before. She has grown quite a bit, but I think she could still stand to grow a little bit more. Again, because her legs are so long in comparison to the rest of her body. Trust me, I understand that problem. I have the same problem. But when you do, that means you just got to get that much bigger in the glutes in order to make that proportionally look correct, right? She's got a little bit of an imbalance here, and that's due to her posing. This is her front side pose. I tell you guys this all the time. You got to pose on both sides so that you don't have this little tilt off to the one side so that your glutes aren't imbalanced. So she has a little bit of an imbalance here. That can easily be fixed if you're posing on both sides and you're doing body work and all of those fun things that I tell you guys to do all the time. So just saying. But again, if she fills out a little bit more, then she can definitely be a threat. I see her in the top 5, probably not winning it, but I do see her in the top 5, right? So yeah, it has to do with her body shape as far as, from the front, she looks top heavy, from the back, she looks quad heavy. Yes, it has to do with her shape. Right. So, and a lot of it is, some of it is posing, but a lot of it's just due to her shape and it's due to the length of her legs in comparison to her upper body. When you're short, when your upper body is short and you have broad across the top, you can look really big across the top from the front real quick. So you gotta play with the posing a little bit for sure. And lastly, I brought up Alice. So this is another girl who has placed top 5 several times this past year, and just has had some issues with her presentation, right? Posing's been a little bit off, hair has been a little bit off, that kind of thing, but her shape is ridiculous. So this is a fantastic bikini shape right here. I don't even have to pull up another pose. Like you can see how tiny her waistline is and her V out into her shoulders and all of that. She has a really, really good bikini shape, just front to back. She's got a really good bikini shape. She just needs some time to fill it out a little bit. She was getting a little bit soft here, a little bit soft. She's losing her shoulders a little, and to fix her presentation. Presentation got better throughout the year. So I imagine when she comes back, it's going to be even better now. She fixed it quite quickly throughout the year too, through the shows that she did. So she fixed it pretty quickly. So I expect her to be even better when she comes back. But again, she needs to just kind of fill it out a little bit. Her whole shape just needs to fill out a little bit with a little bit more muscle, which she could have done from this time frame. And again, posing is just a little off. She's squatting a little bit, that kind of thing. She still needs to work on the posing a little. But she's got a fantastic shape here. And if she's been able to work with it and shape it a little bit, add a little bit more size, she could look very, very good. And this hair just drove me kind of crazy. It's very unhealthy looking. So this kind of ashy blonde, this gray blonde doesn't work on stage. It looks very dull, right? It looks very dull. And then on top of that, she had the curls, which made it look very damaged. So for me, that's a huge point where I just look at it and go, oh no, So make sure your hair looks healthy, you guys. I don't care what color you do, as long as it looks healthy. This doesn't look healthy, right? This looks like it's over processed. So keep that in mind. Little things like that, they catch your eye and they're distracting, right? So I would definitely change that look. Suit look is fine. And then just tweak the posing too. So, but if she's done all those things, again, she could be another one that's in the hunt for the win here. I could definitely see her up in that top 3, right? So this show, and this is how these shows are going to go, coming up. There's not going to be a clear-cut winner from these previews, right? So I would like to see what each one of these girls brings to the table. And I don't have a clear winner here. If I was betting, I would probably put Brittany in the winner circle. We have taller girls, more taller girls in this particular show, more, muscle, that kind of thing. I would probably put Brittany up there, but it could go Brittany, it could go Vanya. I mean, Alice, if she comes in looking phenomenal, could go to her. There's several people here. Like I said, if they just bring in their best package, they could easily win it. This is not one of these shows where somebody's going to just walk in and walk out and with a win, right? I don't know about the green suit on her. Green would probably work for Alice. I don't know about a green on Alice. I like the blue on her. I just like to see her hair different and look healthy. As long as it looks healthy, I'm happy. Like, just make it look healthy. Right? So what do you guys think? Who do you guys have in the winner's circle here? Who do you think is going to take home the win? I think it's going to come down to Brittany and Vanya. I think it's what it's going to come down to, but we'll see. And again, all I talked about were girls that have taken top 5 placings. So there's several girls on this list that have not placed top 5 yet, but that doesn't mean that they can't. You know, we see it every week. We see girls come in that we didn't even know existed, and all of a sudden they're in top contention, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, not really, honestly, that was, Brittany last year. She came out of nowhere. She had placed okay, but then all of a sudden she just started winning, right? Same thing with Lizzie. Lizzie hadn't really done much, and then she came out last year and she started placing really well. So we could see any of these girls do that. Alice, same thing. Alice came out of nowhere and started placing really well. All these girls, there could be somebody on this list that just shocks all of us, right? Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, where I tend to lean my predictions on is the rest of the competitors. I think Brittany is probably going to compare well to the rest of the competitors, right? So I think that's why I'm pushing towards her a little bit more. But if Vanya comes in looking on point, then it could be her, right? And it could be her. And again, it could be any one of these girls comes in a little bit better. They've had time off. And I've said this for most of these girls, they just need to fill out a little bit. If they fill out a little bit, they're going to be a threat. They fix a little things, posing, they fix their hair, they could be a threat, right? So this is anybody's game this weekend. I think it'll be a good one. The show itself, as from what I've heard, does not have a live stream. They're working on it right now. But if anybody's there, get me video. If you're there, find me video. I will be at a local show this weekend, so I won't be able to watch it live because I think the pros start at 9 a.m. So I won't be able to watch it live. But if people can get me video, that'd be fantastic. I always prefer video to pictures. Right. There are a few girls with the muscular upper bodies, correct. And they'll all compare well to each other. Again, this is always a game of apples and oranges. And if there's a bunch of apples, they're going to compare all apples. If it's a bunch of oranges, they're going to compare all oranges, right? So we'll see. We'll see. This could really be anybody's game here. So, and again, if they come in looking on point, then they could take it, right? Yeah, I think across the board, most people that I've talked to are thinking it's going to be either Vanya or Brittany. But who knows? It could be anybody's game. That's the fun part, right? Yeah. It's just a matter of who compares well to each other too sometimes, right? Like we're talking about. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how these girls do. But whenever we have a show like this, I really like it because there's not a front runner. There's not somebody who everybody's like, that's going to be the winner. There's not that, right? So it makes it interesting, makes it fun. So with that, you guys, let's wrap it up for tonight. We'll be back on live tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our prep update, off-season update night, right? We do that once a week. So we can get on here. This is the time frame where you can ask questions about your own programming and things like that. So it ends up being a really, really fun live tomorrow night. So yeah, we tend to have really good conversations. So I'm looking forward to doing it again tonight or tomorrow night. QR code for our website right here, suitsandposing.com. We have been working on that site all day because we got hacked yesterday. So yeah, they wiped our whole freaking thing off. So we had to rebuild the whole thing. So that's been fun. That's been a fun day today, you guys. It's been fantastic. But with that, most everything is working now. If you have any issues, please reach out, let us know, because we are still trying to clean up the mess that whoever it was made it, some random hacker somewhere. I don't know. So yeah, that's the fun part about business. You just never know what you're going to wake up to the following day, right? So if you have any issues with the site, please let me know. We do have our free webinar tomorrow night. So if you are in the hunt for a competition suit, go right here, sign up for the free webinar. It's a competition suit makeover. It is a webinar where I teach you the key elements to having a winning competition suit. And then we do a special deal for you guys too for coming on the webinar. So check it out. Mentioned last night, we added New York Pro onto our list for shows. So I will be covering Pittsburgh and New York in person through my Spotify. So if you're not on my Spotify, get on my Spotify. You can also get to the Spotify from the website too. So follow the Spotify because we'll be covering both of those shows. If you need hair and makeup, either one of those shows, I'm your girl. I got you. Go ahead and sign up for that. What else? I think that's everything. Again, we're going to be at a local show this weekend, the Virginia Classic. So I'll see some of you guys there. And I'll go over all this stuff again tomorrow night, of course. And subscribe. Subscribe to all of our channels, all of our outlets, and comment, like, all of that stuff. Even when this goes back up after it's been reposted, please go back and comment on it. Help us with the algorithms. Help us get seen. All of that. Okay? I think I did my sales pitch. I think that's everything. All right, this will be a fun weekend of shows, though. So I will see you guys back here again, 8:15 tomorrow night. Same time, same place. And let's have some fun. All right. Have a great night, you guys. We'll log off Instagram first. And